Grenada. On Sunday, October 1st from 5 p.m. Everyone's gonna be heading to the National Stadium for the massive Mega Force promotion. October Mega Cash Bingo.
How much cash we really talking about?
We're talking $100,000. $100,000 in cash to be won. Get your tickets now. $60 for one or $100 for two.
This is gonna be another epic bingo event.
Organize your posse now because no one should miss Mega Force October Mega Cash Bingo.
Hello and welcome to the MTV Evening News for Friday, the 29th of September. And the news headlines come to you in association with Quartz Grenada Limited.
Switch to a Ready Cash loan today. Bring your loan to us and get 25% off your interest rate. Get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and hassle-free service, so you can do all the important things you need with ease. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Visit us in-store or apply online at www.shopquartz.com. Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment as you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest. Visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
And coming up in the news this evening, 60-year-old St. John resident to serve 19 and a half years behind bars for arson. Climate change commitments from Small Island Developing States or SIDS. The Camahon Folk Festival returns to St. Patrick. And in sport, Cricket West Indies clarifies bidding process for ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024. Details to those and other stories, a look to the public forecast information. It'll all be right after the break for you, right here on the Evening News for the final Friday of September. Stay with us.
The first segment of the MTV Evening News comes to you compliments Nexa Credit Union. With you wherever your road leads.
But when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands, we got everything we need. Cause you can look to me, yes, I can. Whenever you're in need, yes, just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide, the light that shines our way. Wherever your road leads, we'll be right there with you. Wherever
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Good evening, I'm Tony Julian with the details. 19 years and 6 months for a 60-year-old labourer of St. John. He was convicted of arson in connection with a fire that destroyed the historic Douglaston estate in St. John. But let's get the details from Troy Gill.
Peter Adrian Henry, resident of Douglaston, was charged with 2 counts of arson by unlawfully setting fire to the Buchan and a dwelling house on May 20th, 2020. His attorney, Jerry Edwin, explained the court's decision to members of the media on Friday. According to him, the sentence was 23 years. However, Henry will serve 19 and a half years, considering time already spent in prison.
The judge started with a sentence of 14 years. 4 years in the first instance. Then she increased the sentence by 10 years and an additional 9 years. What the judge considered was the economic loss which the Branch family and the residents on the estate experienced. Several people lost their jobs. Mr. Branch's family, for example, lost their livelihood. A determination was made by a psychiatric expert, Dr. Dirk Burkhardt, that as a result of Mr. Henry's prolonged history of alcoholism, Mr. Henry is dangerous as a result of his impulsivity. In other words, he drinks and he cannot control himself.
The loss suffered is an estimated $900,000. Edwin says Henry will undergo psychiatric evaluation and therapy while serving his sentence. Peter Adrian Henry, who destroyed the historic Douglaston estate, was found guilty of 1 count of arson and not guilty of a separate count of arson on May 17, 2023. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
Guilty pleas before the number 1 High Court on Friday morning before Justice Madam Paula Guilford. Following the hearing, a Belmont resident and 2 brothers from Happy Hill, St. George were remanded to His Majesty's prison to await sentencing later this year. We get the details in this report.
Jude Buckmeyer, a 35-year-old construction worker, pleaded guilty to manslaughter after his initial charge of non-capital murder was reduced. He was charged with non-capital murder on October 4, 2022, for the death of Darren Coutain, a 31-year-old Belmont resident. The father of 6 died as a result of blunt force trauma to his head and rib area. The incident occurred on Friday, 30th September 2022. Buckmeyer was jointly charged with his nephew, Stephen Buckmeyer, a 22-year-old boat maintenance worker. However, all charges against Stephen was dropped due to lack of evidence. Buckmeyer is represented by attorney Jerry Edwin.
And today, Jude Buckmeyer pled guilty to that charge. He will be sentenced in another month or so, and we will offer a plea in mitigation on his behalf. His nephew, Stephen Buckmeyer, was also charged with non-capital murder. And we negotiated with the DPP insofar as they relook the evidence against Stephen. And in his wisdom, considered wisdom, the DPP dropped all of the charges against Stephen. So only Jude is facing a manslaughter charge, and at his sentencing in about a month or so, we will offer a plea in mitigation on his behalf.
Jude Buckmeyer's application for bail was denied and he was remanded to His Majesty's prison to await sentencing on December 19, 2023. In a separate matter, the Hyacinth brothers from Happy Hill, St. George, who were arrested and charged for the offense of robbery with violence in April of 2022, pleaded guilty on Friday. On Friday, 22nd April 2022, the young men robbed over $8,000 worth of goods and a cell phone from the Happy Time Bakery in Happy Hill. The young men were teenagers at the time of the incident. Ivan Hyacinth and Neil Hyacinth were arrested and charged for the robbery on Friday, April 22nd, 2022. Their lawyer, Jerry Edwin, says the young man was well known to the individuals they targeted and the matter will be expedited. The young men were denied bail and remanded to His Majesty's prison where they will await sentencing on October 5th, 2023.
To which they pled guilty to the charges of robbery with violence. She did not grant them bail. And sad though the incident is, because these young men are 20 and 21 years old. Unfortunate as it is, the judge decided to remand the young men to Richmond Hill. But it's a brief respite they will have because the sentencing will be held next Thursday.
Robbery with violence carries a maximum sentence of 15 years, and Edwin says he will offer mitigation on behalf of the young brothers. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
On Friday, the two-day high-level dialogue on climate change among small island developing states, or SIDS, concluded with a number of topics brought to the fore to be presented at COP28, carried for the 30th of November to the 12th of December. Well, our news team spoke with Minister Donald Cooper, Director of the Transparency Division of the UNFCCC. That would have been about the commitments made.
Most important parts of all of the climate regime, but it's one of the least understood. It underpins the entire mechanism. It's showing accountability. If a country gives a commitment to do something, the world doesn't simply accept the word of that country. It says, thank you very much, and by the way, next week, Tuesday, my experts will be coming down to visit your country, talk to your NGOs, your private sector, and make sure that your commitment is valid, and we'll come every couple of years just to make sure you're living up to it.
According to the minister, pledges are made by each country based on what they believe they can accomplish within the set timeline.
Each 5 years, countries submit a new one to say, yes, I expected I would be able to do this much, but reality is I can do a lot more. So I will give you a new commitment. Now, in that commitment, you will have milestones for when you're going to achieve things. And every 2 years within that window, we will come and we will check. And you will have to go before all of your peers globally and say how well you have done or how poorly you have done.
Cooper went on to explain that for developing countries, they were only recently obligated to do in-depth reporting of these issues.
The biggest factor for developing countries is that reporting of this nature has only just become an obligation for them. For the last 25 to 30 years, it's only been the big developed countries that have had this obligation of reporting. But now all countries are treated the same. And beginning next year, each country will have to make this same kind of a commitment and say how they're living up to the obligation.
Although it is new, Cooper said that it is expected that the reporting will become better over time. Meanwhile, as part of the SIDS meeting, there were a variety of climate change-related projects on display at the Radisson Hotel. The projects focused on ways of helping mitigate the efforts of climate change. Our news team spoke to a few of the exhibitionists about their projects, as we hear from Donella Houston.
During the two-day high-level climate change dialogue, which was held in Grenada, organizations had the opportunity to showcase their projects and other initiatives to the visiting delegates. MTV News spoke to Carol Forbes, project manager of the ING project, an environmental project executed by WINDREF, funded by the Caribbean Biodiversity Project. According to Forbes, they are working in the Soubise area to restore the shoreline.
Currently, we're doing some coral outplanting along the fringing reef in Soubise. My colleague Kendon James, he's a technical officer on the project. He will talk a little bit more about that. And we're also doing a hybrid green approach of stabilizing the shoreline. That includes some grain infrastructure together with some vegetation along the shoreline.
Technical officer for the ING project, Kendon James, says the other part of this project is reigniting the community spirit in the area.
Part of the reason why we're also doing that as well is to reinvigorate the community spirit that has been once there. Post-Ivan, things have been since on the downward side in terms of the activities that used to happen there, how much they used to utilize the beaches, and the amount of activity in terms of businesses and stuff like that.
Also part of Friday's display was G Cruise. Speaking to us was Brian Bonaparte, project manager, who shared about their initiatives and products.
Talking about faucets, they're talking about things for the sinks and also toilets. We also have various brochures informing the public of what the G Cruise project is really about. There's also a grievance mechanism sheets. The reason why this is very important, this grievance mechanism sheet, is because we are going to start our infrastructure component very soon. And you know how it is with infrastructure, with dust and noise. So there's a protocol in terms of complaining about whatever grievances you might have when this infrastructure component gets rolling out.
With most people becoming more aware of climate change and its effects, groups and organizations are finding it much easier to spark interest among the population to participate in climate-smart projects and initiatives. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Houston.
President of the Kiwanis Club St. Andrew, Diane Abel Jeffrey, who served as president since 2017, in fact, will be appointed Lieutenant Governor for Division 27 Caribbean during the club's 6-year anniversary celebrations to be held at Radisson Resorts on Saturday. Although Jeffrey was unavailable for comment, our news team did speak to outgoing Lieutenant Governor Joycelyn Watts Phillips from Barbados, who is here in Grenada along with other Kiwani officials for a divisional council meeting and anniversary celebrations.
Well, Kiwanis International is really a service organization of volunteers, and our main focus is we're serving the children of the world. So that's the real mandate. And with the different clubs in the Caribbean, all of them have the same mandate, but primarily service. And I am here because as Lieutenant Governor, I am going to be handing over on Saturday to the Lieutenant Governor that will be coming in for the admin year 2023-2024. The Kiwanis year ends in the 30th of September and begin on the 1st. And a Grenadian is who is going to be the next Lieutenant Governor, and her name is Diane Abel Jeffrey. So I am here to officially hand over the banner, this banner that you're seeing, and she will be leading Division 27 Caribbean.
Phillips highlighted what the role of Lieutenant Governor will entail.
The Lieutenant Governor role is really to supervise and manage the clubs in Division 27. Part of that is also to motivate persons, also to build new clubs. Because the more clubs we build, it means there are more hands to do the work of Kiwanis. Some of the projects that Kiwanians do, they read to children, feed the homeless, open play parks, you name it.
The Kiwanis Club of St. Andrew is a charter club of Kiwanis International, a service organization that focuses primarily on children and their holistic development. And that's the first segment of the Evening News Friday. We'll be back with you after the break.
The first segment of the MTV Evening News came to you in association with Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
For when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. 'cause you can look to me. Yes, I can. Whenever you're in need, yes, you can. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide. The light that shines our way. Wherever your road leads, we'll be right there with you. Wherever your road leads, we'll make your dreams come true. Next side, next side, next side, right next to you.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
For a limited time, the NLA has dropped all of the 2X balls from the multi-X draw. This means that you, our valuable players, have greater chances of multiplying your winnings up to 5 times more in our 2X drop promotion. Yay! And that's not all. As an additional bonus, there will be fewer free play or FP balls to draw from too. Now you have more reasons to add multi-X to your playway bets. So, value your dreams, win your way, and multiply your winnings up to 5 times more in the NLA's 2X Dropped promotion. Promo runs until Friday, 20th October, 2023. Must be 18 years or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
with an Accel Back to School loan. Visit today or call us on 435-8222.
Ring, 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 back to school loan thing. Accel Finance help you joy of learning.
Your new Grenlec bill is even easier to read and still has all the valuable information you need to track and manage your usage.
Hey Mom, okay, your friendly tech support is here. So you got the new Grenlec bill? Let's take a look. The new bill makes it even easier to see your bill total, the due date, and much more. And take a closer look. It actually is a lot easier to understand. Let me show you. You can still see exactly what the charges are for, but in a great new format, it even shows how the cost of generating and delivering the electricity to you is calculated using your actual usage. And Mom, let Lucy know she can check out Grenlec's new Understanding Your Bill video. Anyway, look who says hi, and see you soon.
Your new Grenlec bill, easier to understand and easier to track your usage.
Grenada! On Sunday, October 1st from 5 p.m. Everyone's gonna be heading to the National Stadium for the massive Mega Force promotion. October Mega Cash Bingo!
How much cash we really talking about?
We're talking $100,000! $100,000 in cash to be won! Get your tickets now. $60 for one or $100 for two.
This is gonna be another epic bingo event.
Organize your posse now because no one should miss Mega Force October Mega Cash Bingo!
As As of October 2nd, 2023, the Hubbard's Rewards program will have some exciting new features to better serve you. Streamlined loyalty experience. That is, no more waiting for vouchers to be issued on a quarterly basis via traditional mail. Instant redemption. This means loyalty points earned can be redeemed immediately after purchase and applied towards your future cash purchases upon checking out. Check status. You can instantly review your reward points when checking out or on your printed receipt. Sign up today and start saving when you shop at any Hubbard's department, including the Food Fair and Grenadian General Insurance Company Limited. Please note that existing vouchers are still valid once not expired. Hubbard's. Quality service, affordable prices.
The second segment of the MTV Evening News comes to you in association with the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited.
Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited has the credit cards to suit your needs. Choose any one of our 3 Visa credit cards, Classic, Infinite, or Signature, and enjoy the affordability, security, and convenience they all offer. Get value for your money with Visa Reward Points. The more you spend, the more points you earn. Co-op Bank is giving you options. You have the choice. We've got the cards. Tailor-made just for you. Visit www.grenadacoopbank.com for more information or call or visit any one of our retail banking units.
Welcome home.
Welcome back. The Camohon Folk Festival is making its return to the historic parish of St. Patrick, and that'll be with a launch on Saturday, the 30th of September at the Cites bus terminus from 8 p.m. And again, that date for you, it's the 30th of September and the time from 8 p.m. Acting Chief Cultural Officer Adrian Mark says it's all about bringing back the cultural buzz that St. Patrick is known for. Performances are expected from top calypso and soca artists, cultural plays, and the national folk group.
St. Patrick is a historical parish when it comes to folk and other things like that. Traditional mass, you could think about Chutney, the Veco, the Apache, the Wild Indians, just name it. St. Patrick's is a parish for this. And we think it's important because these are some of the things that we'll be highlighting at the festival itself, bringing back the traditional mass and all the traditional games that we tend to forget now. So we want to bring back that nostalgic behavior of people that the playing of the marble, the spinning on the tops.
Mark said the launching of the festival on the weekend is mainly to raise awareness of the return of the Camohon Folk Festival, giving people a taste of what is to come in the 3-day festival carded for December.
To give a short performance of what will be happening on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of December. So we're making the populace aware that we are coming bigger and better. Never had it before that we had a launch for the folk festival, but because we are introducing, we think it's important that we have a launch to sensitize the public way in advance, at least 3 months in advance, to prepare and have the knowledge that the folk festival is coming back.
The Camohon Folk Festival is also expected to have economic impact on the parish, where vendors will get an opportunity to sell their food, craft, and other items. A planning committee based in the parish, chaired by Robert White, is spearheading the plans for the return of the Camohon Folk Festival, which is being supported by the Government of Grenada through the Division of Culture. A world-renowned executive coach arrives here in Grenada to equip local pastors and church leaders with the tools needed for continued growth in the ministry and to inspire a new generation of leadership within the religious community. But let's get more in this report.
The Grenada Institute for Theological Education, or GITE, will be facilitating a session for local pastors and church leaders on Tuesday, October 3rd, with internationally known executive coach and pastor Stan Lubeck from the USA. The aim is to empower leaders and inspire a new era of leadership. Director of the institution, Reverend John Lewis, speaking to MTV News on Thursday, says the session will be held at the Janangley main office in Belmont, St. George.
We have a special session for pastors and leaders on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. right here at Guide. It will last for about 2 hours, where as a pastor's coach, he will be able to coach our pastors and give them some insights on how we can become better in the pastoral duties and responsibilities that we do here in Grenada. So the appeal is that our pastors and leaders would take advantage of this free session. Normal coaching is very costly, and to have a resource person like Stan Lubeck here, he's an executive coach in his own right, has traveled extensively and pastored in so many capacities that what he brings to the table is very useful to us here in Grenada.
The Institute will also be facilitating a one-week course for church leaders on the topic, How to Change Your World, beginning on Monday, October 2nd from 5 p.m. Facilitator Stan Lubeck believes churches must give birth to new leadership.
At the heart of what we'll be talking about is how do each one of us increase our capacity? How do we lead 10 people to lead 10 people? Because if we do that, then we're going to have impact, and we don't have to burn out ourselves because we're multiplying our impact. And in reality, isn't that what Jesus did when he trained the 12 and equipped them to carry on the ministry even after he was gone? And so it's a win-win we'll be talking about, but how do we create that healthy spiritual environment that's good for the pastors, but also good for the people, because we're all in ministry. You know, the Bible talks about the priesthood of the believer, that we're all ministers. And so how do we make sure that all of us are moving in the same direction? How do we build teams to do ministry so that we can experience what Jesus promised, which is his burden is light and it's well-fitting?
According to Lubeck, there comes a time when pastors and church leaders will need to give way to new leadership, especially among the younger generation.
One of the great challenges today, as I know about Grenada, there's a lot of young men and women that are on this island, and there's a great need to be able to mentor and to train and to equip them to do the ministry, because they're ministers. And so those of us who are older, you know, we've got experience, but it becomes a big investment to be spiritual fathers for men and women, to equip them, to see them be successful. And so in essence, what we're going to be talking about is how do we function as servant leaders so that we are equipping them to do the ministry.
MTV News, Donessa Pantru.
It's the Evening Edition Friday, and in this evening's Total Local, we feature the Arsonist with his latest album, God's Favorite. Let's hear what he has to offer.
What's going on, everybody? The Arsonist, Grenadian rap / hip hop artist. I personally been in the industry, I would say, a little while now, and even sometimes I experience a lot of adversity, and in the end I always feel like, you know, God always pulls through for me. So that's where the name came from, God's Favorite. So the album is basically a compilation of different experiences that I've been through along different stages of my life. So it's not just an album that I wrote in 1 month, you know, so it's basically like 2-3 years of experience compacted in this one body of music.
Just let real around, do what they want anyway. Cause real, no real, and when real revealed.
The last song on the album, God's Favorite. The song really does speak for itself. So apart from me explaining it, I would really like for you to go and listen to the song. It's a song that just shows, like, no matter what you go through in life, Like, my grandfather always used to say, the longest rope has an end. And it's just a song to give you a bit of hope, to let you know that even if you're going through something, eventually you would get over it. So it's just a motivational song, basically.
But without a doubt, I know that I'm the one to blame. I know. So I'm facing fears, looking in the mirror straight. It's so hard to concentrate.
Well, the response was great because especially considering that I released it around the beginning of the carnival season, and that's not something that I usually do with these, the urban type of music, because soca run the place. But the response was great because I always think to myself that your audience is your audience, and your audience shouldn't change based on the season.
Thank the Lord I got away. This joy cometh in the morning. So if you feeling like there ain't no brighter days.
So you could find the album on iTunes, Spotify, Tidal. These are all the major streaming platforms. You could find it on YouTube also. So God's favorite everywhere. You could even Google it.
That's the second segment of the Evening News Friday. Regional highlights are next.
The second segment of the MTV Evening News came to you in association with the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited.
Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited has the credit cards to suit your needs. Choose any one of our 3 Visa credit cards, Classic, Infinite, or Signature, and enjoy the affordability, security, and convenience they all offer. Get value for your money with Visa Reward Points. The more you spend, the more points you earn. Co-op Bank is giving you options. You have the choice. We've got the cards. Tailor-made just for you. Visit www.grenadacoopbank.com for more information, or call or visit any one of our retail banking units.
Welcome home.
The National Lotteries Authority is a proud sponsor of many cultural activities within the Tri-Island state of Grenada.
My name is Anderson Matheson, also known as Leftist, and I'm a calypsonian and string band music player from Carrico. I support the games of the National Lottery Authority because culture benefits tremendously. Annually, the NLA supports the Carrico and Petit Matinee Carnival, the Carrico String Band Music Festival, and all regattas, among other activities. When I play the game of the NLA, I can see where my money goes, and it's an investment into our culture.
Yes, Grenada, when you play the games of the NLA, you enable us to invest in the skills and talents of our people in the areas of sports, culture, and nation building.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Let's get back to school with Dutch Lady. Spend $10 or more on Dutch Lady products, scan the QR code, enter your name, address, telephone number, receipt number, and place of purchase at any of our outlets, or online to enter for a chance to win. Shopping voucher valued at $1,000 for school supply. Free internet for 3 months. Free private tutoring for 3 months. Promotion valid from September to October 2023. Terms and conditions apply. Visit participating outlets and get ready to win big with Dutch Lady. Dutch Lady, building stronger families.
The choice to finance your education is clear. Try the Grenada Development Bank Won't You Dare. Our special student loan was designed with care for your growth, development, and welfare. This is how champions are made. Take on that challenge. Don't ever be afraid. Our special student loan will come to your aid with 100% of your study costs being paid. Vulnerability is but a temporary condition, and conquering it is strictly ambition. You can secure victory despite your position with a loan for accommodation, books, and tuition. We see your potential. We notice your drive. So on your marks, get set. Let your dreams come alive. Don't let hurdles of doubt get in your way, because you are the future. Contact GDB today. Our special student loan is just one application away. Grenada Development Bank. Development through financing.
Hi, my name is Dwayne Thompson, co-owner and founder of Sweet Grenada Tours, Taxi and Rental. We provide transportation tours in the field of tourism. Being in the field of tourism, the pandemic have taught us that we need all the help we can get, which the NIF has been very helpful in doing so. But as a small business owner, we are even more excited right now with the new initiative that the NIF have launched, providing a little bit more flexibility for small businesses like ourselves. So we definitely encourage all of the small business to consider getting on board with the NIF and this new initiative that allows the level of flexibility that they have implemented.
Grenada, get ready! A new season of the Grenleg Debates is coming. Informative, impromptu, bright young minds sparking powerful ideas. The Grenleg Debates, September 2023. Tune in.
The third segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with Arise Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Request, repay, repeat with Arisa's FlexiCredit Evergreen Loan Facility. Qualify for a FlexiCredit with limits up to $25,000 or use your home equity to qualify for more. Extra cash at your fingertips whenever you need it. Accessed using your debit card and managed using AMI, Arisa's mobile internet experience app. FlexiCredit allows you the flexibility to top up to your approved limit any day, anytime. Already a member? Send us a WhatsApp on 423-4987. New members join today to apply. Request, repay, repeat. Use your FlexiCredit for vacations, shopping, wedding, general expenses, and more. Arisa loan terms and conditions apply. Arisa Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Welcome back. Let's now turn things over to Clifton James for this evening's regional roundup.
With the regional roundup, I am Clifton James. The St. Kitts Nevis police said they have detained several Haitians who were rescued when the boat in which they were travelling grounded on a reef on September the 20th. In a statement, the police said that 10 individuals, including a 2-year-old baby and the captain of the yacht believed to be from Dominica, were rescued by the St. Kitts and Nevis Defence Force Coast Guard after it responded to a distress call from a vessel close to the coastline. The police said that 11 individuals were on board, including the boat's captain, and that 4 of them disembarked and swam to shore. They said that while the Coast Guard was on the scene, 2 individuals were observed swimming towards the coastline and another 2 who made it to land were fleeing the scene. But the authorities said law enforcement apprehended and detained the fleeing individuals, and that of the 10 rescued, 9 were identified as Haitian nationals. The boat captain is reported to have abandoned the vessel using a smaller boat. Over in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, tucked away against a rainforest backdrop between lush green mountains that meet a cobalt blue sea, Sandals Resort's newest all-inclusive resort, Sandals St. Vincent and the Grenadines, will mark the 9th Caribbean destination and 18th Sandals Resort for Sandals Resorts International, when it welcomes its first guest on March the 27th, 2024. Now open for reservations, the more than 50-acre sprawling resort unlocks an entirely new island experience that invites guests to bask in its on-sport beauty with 2-story overwater villas, meandering rivers and other sensational Sandals firsts. Belonging to the Lesser Antilles and neighbouring St. Lucia and Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is home to a collection of 32 islands and cays that offer exotic landscapes with natural delights from its rushing rivers to the rolling highlands and volcanic peaks, coveted as a secluded Eastern Caribbean gem. The resort is a dream more than 2 decades in the making. From the moment we laid eyes on Vincy, as the locals lovingly call her, and felt the sense of magic and wonder and awe so palpable you could almost touch it, said Adam Stewart, Executive Chairman of Sandals Resorts International. Further afield, 6 female migrants trapped inside a refrigerated food truck were rescued by French police after one of the women made a distress call to a reporter, the BBC reported Thursday. The women, 4 Vietnamese and 2 Iraqis, hid for hours in a truck loaded with boxes of bananas in northern France, believing the vehicle was on its way to the UK or Ireland. When they realised that the truck was going the opposite way, they started to panic in the cold and cramped, dark space. One of them managed to reach a BBC reporter in London, who helped them alert the French police Wednesday. The broadcaster reported that the woman was able to send text messages, the truck's GPS location, and short videos showing the condition inside the truck. The women were shown sitting in a tight space on the floor surrounded by boxes of fruit, panicking and struggling to breathe, according to the BBC. You're up to date with the Regional Roundup. I am Clifton James.
This is the MTV Evening News. We'll be back with you after the break.
The third segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with Arise Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Request, repay, repeat with Ariza's FlexiCredit Evergreen Loan Facility. Qualify for a FlexiCredit with limits up to $25,000 or use your home equity to qualify for more. Extra cash at your fingertips whenever you need it. Accessed using your debit card and managed using AMI, Ariza's mobile internet experience app. FlexiCredit allows you the flexibility to top up to your approved limit any day, anytime. Already a member? Send us a WhatsApp on 423-4987. New members join today to apply. Request, repay, repeat. Use your FlexiCredit for vacations, shopping, wedding, general expenses, and more. Ariza loan terms and conditions apply. Ariza Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
You're watching the MTV Evening News. Sporting highlights are next.
For a limited time, the NLA has dropped all of the 2X balls from the multi-X draw. This means that you, our valuable players, have greater chances of multiplying your winnings up to 5 times more in our 2X drop promotion. Yay! And that's not all. As an additional bonus, there will be fewer free play or FP balls to draw from too. Now you have more reasons to add multi-X to your playway bets. So, value your dreams, win your way, and multiply your winnings up to 5 times more in the NLA's 2X Dropped promotion. Promo runs until Friday, 20th October, 2023. Must be 18 years or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
What does it take to be an amazing woman? Lots of me time.
Amazing women are classy, fancy, and a little sassy. It's the drink for me. Cheers! Sometimes you've got to show them who's boss. Alpha male? Nah, alpha females are more amazing. Cheers to securing the bag. We make time for ourselves, for work, friends, and we certainly make time for passion. We're simply amazing. Amazing cream liqueur for the amazing woman in you.
My name is Alimaka Motley. I've been here doing nails since 2017. Me being self-employed, I have realized that paying the NIS benefits me now and even when I retire. By the time I'm 65, I will be receiving contributions back from NIS. So I benefit because I'm self-employed. Anything can happen. If anything happens to you while you're at work, you've got a bad cold, you have the COVID, you have dengue, we have all these diseases that's plaguing us at the moment. NIS will be giving you back some form of money when you're ill. So I would encourage all small business persons to sign up with NIS now.
Vivid by Quartz Optical. Schedule your free eye exam today and get up to 50% off credit purchases. You heard right, up to 50% off select credit purchases or 25% off cash purchases. What are you waiting for? Buy that frame today with no cash and pay later. Book your appointment online today at quartzoptical.com. Live vivid, see vivid. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
Climate change is real, bringing hotter days and less rain. Less rain means less water, so it's crucial for us to conserve water at home. When washing my vehicle, I use a bucket with rainwater that I have stored. This is how I save water. What are you waiting for?
Grenada, get ready! A new season of the Grenleg Debates is coming. Informative, impromptu, bright young minds sparking powerful ideas. The Grenleg Debates, September 2023. Tune in.
Cricket West Indies clarifies bidding process for ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024. That highlight and more coming up in our sporting segment.
The MTV Evening Sports is brought to you in association with Quartz, bringing value home.
The Quartz Store home event is happening now. Get up to 30% off select furniture, appliances, and electronics. Save on bedroom, dining room, living room sets, 55-inch smart TVs, and more. Get what you want today with no cash and pay later with Quartz Ready Finance. Plus, stay protected for up to 4 years with Super Shield extended warranty. Don't miss the Quartz home event, bringing value home. Promotion runs 25th August to 23rd September 2023. Conditions apply.
A special evening to you now, sporting fans.
The St. George's Anglican Primary School held its annual inter-house football tournament on Friday at the Queen's Park playing field. The head of the Grade 6 department and one of the teachers of the St. George's Anglican Primary School is Richard Pear.
We have two categories. We have the girls category and the boys category. This event, that's one of the first sporting events we have every year, around September, end of September. And we're looking for the future stars in football. Every year we use that as a selection process for our football teams, both boys and girls. The physical education part of it, we don't just depend only on the academics, all right? So we need to have a balance. So it is important that the children go there and they are physically active. That will help them in the long run to be a better student overall.
Referees from across the island are currently engaged in a FIFA MA referees course at the GFA's Secretariat for the next 4 days. The course is facilitated by FIFA instructors Diane Ferreira, Kalisha Antoine, and FIFA Referee Development Officer Javier Santos. The course is an annual FIFA Member Association refereeing course for international and top referees and assistant referees, men and women in the member associations. Cricket West Indies issued a statement today to provide clarity on the ongoing process of venue selection for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, scheduled to take place in the Caribbean and USA in June 2024. CWI acknowledges the enthusiasm and interest expressed by various governments, cricket boards, and stakeholders in hosting the highly anticipated tournament. Johnny Grave, Chief Executive Officer, stated, "Following a robust selection process of our 7 host venues, the CWI appointed Venues Selection Committee, chaired by President Dr. Kishore Shallow, has made recommendations to the ICC on allocations of matches for ICC Men's T20 World Cup, scheduled to take place in the Caribbean and USA in June 2024. He also acknowledged the commendable efforts made by nations within the region. However, he emphasized that final decisions have yet to be reached. And that's it for this evening's sports. I am Troy.
Viewers and listeners, remember that when we return, we'll have the public forecast information for you and then a recap of the main stories.
The MTV Evening Sports was brought to you in association with Quartz, bringing value home.
MTV Weather Report comes to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
We all care for our community. We are strong. Together, we are Grenada.
Good Friday evening, viewers, with the nighttime and the weekend's weather forecast and meteorologist Wayne Williams. If you were feeling hot today, well, you would know why, and that is because these two systems, both Felipe, which is drifting a bit south as a result of the action of Rina, which is moving to the northwest, but the Felipe is going to move, eventually curve back by Sunday and start moving north again. Those two systems are causing serious subsiding air over the eastern Caribbean, at least the southern Caribbean. A weak troughing, weak spiral band developed over some of those islands and brought some showers there, but in our area, subsiding air bringing dry conditions and the extreme heat that we felt today. The heat index rose to a high of 43, even though the maximum temperature read 32. Those are two main features in the Atlantic at the moment, and as I said, Rina is moving up to the northwest and Felipe drifting slightly southwards, but it's going to recurve and move off into the open Atlantic. As this continues, we could see a bit of an easing maybe tomorrow during the morning time, but the high temperatures are going to continue through the weekend. We can see the effects of these two systems churning away. This is Rina. We have Rina, the center of Rina located here, and the center of Felipe. Both systems, the center has drifted a bit out from the central overcast, but lots of heavy thunder showers still associated with these two systems. This basically a weak spiral band has developed. If it drifts, if it maintains its identity and drifts southwards, we could be seeing a bit of easing and maybe even some showers and slight chance of possible thunder showers on Saturday and maybe early on Sunday. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. Tonight, however, mostly clear skies, light to no winds. When they are blowing, they're coming from the southeast at less than 5 miles per hour, but we're going to get very long, calm spells tonight. The minimum temperature around 24. It could even rise to maybe about 25. The moon, it rose at 6:22, and it's going to set at 6:56 in the morning. So lovely moon night to enjoy with the clear skies tonight. On Saturday, as we end the month of September, it will be sunny and hot. Temperatures will again climb to around 32, 33, feel like 42. The UV index will be extreme, so do exercise extreme caution if you are venturing out, if you're working in the open. The winds would still be light coming in from the southeast, but a little stronger than tonight, between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Moderate seas, 4 to 5 foot waves. Sunrise tomorrow is at 5:56, and sun is going to set at 5:57 in the evening, of course. When Sunday rolls in, we're still going to see those hot and sunny conditions. By then, there still is a chance that maybe some pop-up showers. As I said, if that spiral band moves into the area, it could create some very brief, sharp showers, mostly over the interior and the northern parts of the island. Winds would remain southeasterly, still between 5 and 10 miles per hour, but it's going to start getting stronger from the afternoon. Seas would be moderate to slightly choppy, especially on the northern and the eastern coasts. 4 to 5 foot waves. Sunrise is 5:56, sunset 5:57. Still a max of 33. It will continue to feel around 40, 42, and the UV index remains extreme. With the start of the next work week, no major change in the weather. Still sunny and hot conditions through the week. By the weekend, possibility of a slight increase in cloudiness, but temperatures are going to remain high, 33, and feel in the late 30s, 38, 39, around there. And it's going to be sunny and hot, extreme UV index, so exercise extreme caution if you are working outdoors, if you're working in the open sun. That is it for me for Friday night and for this week, folks. Have yourself a great night. Stay safe for the weekend and join me again on Monday.
MTV Weather Report was brought to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
And now to end the news, a recap of the headlines. A 60-year-old St. John resident is to serve 19 and a half years behind bars for arson. Climate change commitments from Small Island Developing States SIDS. The Camerhorn Folk Festival returns to St. Patrick. And in sport, Cricket West Indies clarifies bidding process for ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024. We've had details to those and other stories look to at the public forecast information. And so now, on behalf of the News and Production Department, I'm Tony Julian. We all thank you for viewing and wish you a safe and wonderful weekend.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Caranach and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Raymond Junior Greenidge of Windsor Forest, St. David, who resided at Caliste, St. George and in the USA, entered into rest on Friday 15 September 2023 at the age of 53. He was the father of Raymond Dale, son of Raymond Hines, brother of Nicole Clark, Ramona, Ranisa, Renee, Ronald and their children, nephew of many including Agnes Segers, Yvonne and Lisa in the USA, June St. Bernard, Denise Greenidge Decoto, Lawrence Greenidge, also known as Dick, and Dominic Greenidge in Grenada, Lincoln and Rudolph Greenidge in Trinidad. Many cousins, other relatives and friends in Grenada, the USA, Canada and the UK, including Dawn Harvey and family, Jennifer Greenidge, Sandra Greenidge and family, Regina and Danica Decoto, Nadia Wellington, Margaret Greenidge Bain, and Isha Baldi. The body of the late Raymond Junior Greenidge of Windsor Forest, St. David, who resided at Caliste, St. George and in the USA, will be cremated. Interment of ashes will take place at a later date. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Matthew Peter Smith, also known as Nimrod of Victoria St. Mark, who resided in Byland St. Andrew and Main Gauge Road, Freeport, Trinidad, passed away on Sunday, 24th September, at the age of 62. He was a father of Marvell, Maxine, Maricel, and Macassey Smith, grandfather of Caleb Henry, his fiancée, Kelta Bruce, brother of Diana Mitchell, Alstead, Paul, and Miriam Smith, uncle of Clive Mitchell, Andrea Suralai, Wendy and Victor, Melinda, Michael, Paul, Abigail, Pauline, Marvin Smith, and Curlin Gilbert, brother-in-law of Yvonne and Paula Smith, cousin of Geraldine Hille, Patrick Stephen, and Wayne Alexander. Many other relatives and friends including Nugent Smith and family, Maria Jones and family, Jean Langain and family, the Jerome family of Diamond St. Mark, Pastor Frankie Noel, Peter Morris, friends and neighbors in Grenada and Trinidad. The funeral of the late Matthew Peter Smith, also known as Nimrod, of Victoria St. Mark, who resided in Byland St. Andrew and Main Gauge Road, Freeport, Trinidad, will be held on Tuesday, 3rd October at 1 p.m. at the Pioneer Seventh-day Adventist Church, Trinidad. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Joseph Pear, also known as Lindsay, of Lafayette St. Andrew, former employee of Jonas Brown and Hubbard Limited, passed away on Saturday, 9th September 2023 at the age of 82. He was the husband of Gladys Pear, father of Michael Henry, Jude Bubb and Henry Jones in Grenada, Esther Olive in the UK, Lucille James, Lucian Pear, Kenneth Pear, Gloria Romaine, Lindonna Eartha Noel, and Sherry Connaught in the USA. Grandfather of 29, great-grandfather of 27, brother of Geraldine Garrett and Teresa Williams, father-in-law of Leonie Henry, Alma Bubb, Chrisma Jones, Alexander James, Desmond Olive, Joseph Romaine, Kenneth Antwine, Sylvan Noel, and Roxanne Canterbury, brother-in-law of Teresa Myers in London and Lenora Wilson, uncle of many too numerous to mention. Many other relatives and friends including the Marcel, Sherman, Chichester and Charles families of Lafayette, the Alexis family of Mirabeau and in England, the Antwine family of Grenville, the James family of Happy Hill and Beaulieu, the Romaine family of Bonaire, the Noel family of St. Clouds, and friends and neighbors of Paradise and Lafayette. The funeral of the late Joseph Pear, also known as Lindsay, of Lafayette St. Andrew, will take place on Thursday, October 5th at 12:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Grenville Roman Catholic Church and entombment will be at the Grand Bras Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Lynn Lowe of Ladigue St. Andrew, who resided in Connecticut, USA, died on Tuesday, 29th August 2023, at the age of 62. Left to mourn her husband Godwin Lowe in the USA. Children Janelle, Shawnell, Nazelle, Giselle, and Lyndon in the USA. Siblings Philip, Joseph in Canada, Franklin, Adrian, Joan, Ira, Sheila, and Stanley. 13 grandchildren including Katura and Junior in the USA, Kobe, Leisha, and Selena. 3 great-grands. Nieces and nephews Julianne, Shirley, Reginald, Stacy, and many others. Sons-in-law Wayne and Jelani George, Darion Mapp and Kevin Simon. 4 brothers-in-law, 3 sisters-in-law. Friends and family Janice Griffith, Katura Peterkin, the St. Louis family, the Wilshire family, the Paul family, the Best and Edwards families in the USA, and friends and family of Ladigue and in the USA. The funeral service for the late Lynn Lowe of Ladigue St. Andrew, who resided in Connecticut, USA, will take place on Thursday, October 5th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Grenville Lighthouse Pentecostal Church, and interment will be at the Grand Bras Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
James Alexander Joseph, also known as Mr. Thing, and Mr. Clement of Corinth St. David, who resided at Bonnet St. Mark, passed away on Saturday, 23rd September, at the age of 89. He was the father of Jerry Joseph, Valen Young, also known as Valo, Peter Joseph in the USA, Hermie in Canada, Larry John, also known as Irie, Steve, Margaret, and Teresa Williams, also known as Little. Grandfather of many including Maria Andrew, Kiara Joseph, Ariana Young, Nasha and Cindy Williams, Garfield and Dylan Wildman. Great-grandfather of many, father-in-law of Novely Barrington, Annie Young and Patricia Joseph. Uncle of many including Samuel Sylvester, Young Francis, Eric Agard, Joey and Joy. Many cousins, other relatives and close friends including the Agard and Joseph families of Lassages and Corinth, the Bonaparte and Sylvester families of St. David, Mr. Frank and Wilma Sam, Kendon, also known as Ben, geriatric caregivers, friends and neighbors of St. David, Victoria, Bonnet and surrounding areas. The funeral service of the late James Alexander Joseph, also known as Mr. Ting and Mr. Clement of Corinth St. David, who resided at Bonnet St. Mark, will take place on Thursday, 5th October at 2 p.m. The funeral service will be held at the Victoria Bible Holiness Church St. Mark, and entombment will be at the Coast Guard Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Fitzroy Mason, also known as Sea Egg and Mace, of Caliste, who resided at Settlement Road, Frequency, St. George, former employee of Customs and Excise and a well-known shopkeeper, passed away on Friday, 22nd September 2023, at the age of 77. He was the husband of Lillian Alexander, father of Anderson Alexander, grandfather of Sky and Avery Alexander, father-in-law of Nikita Billy, brother of Ulrich, Frank, Thaddeus, Maureen and Carolyn Mason, Michael and Sonia Moore, and Gemma Phillip, uncle of many including Matthew Lewis, Shane, Anika, Kioma, Troy, Lyndon, and Lyndona Mason. Many other relatives and close friends including Stanley Fraser, Michael Stewart, Michelle Samuel, the Brown, Roberts, Frederick, Mark, Billy, Smith and Redhead families, and friends and neighbors of Caliste, Frequency and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Fitzroy Mason, also known as Sea Egg and Mace, of Caliste, who resided at Settlement Road, Frequency, St. George, will take place on Friday, October 6th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Grand Anse Baptist Church, Maurice Bishop Highway, and interment will be at the Grand Anse Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment. As you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest, visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
Patrick Telesford of Cretan St. George died on Saturday, 16th September, at the age of 94. The funeral arrangements of the late Patrick Telesford of Cretan St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Ina Hilda Lewis, also known as Liz, of Victoria St. Mark, who resided at Crowshoe St. Andrew, passed away on Monday, 18th September 2023, at the age of 93. The funeral arrangements for the late Ina Hilda Lewis, also known as Liz, of Victoria St. Mark, who resided at Crowshoe St. Andrew, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. Mary Virginia Francois, also known as Olive Alexander and I.E., of Mount Craven St. Patrick, passed away on Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, at the age of 90. The funeral arrangements for the late Mary Virginia Francois, also known as Olive Alexander and I.E., of Mount Craven St. Patrick, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. Veronica Frank, also known as Tarn Vero of Victoria St. Mark, who resided at Vendham St. George and in Canada, passed away on Monday, 25th September 2023, at the age of 88. The funeral arrangements for the late Veronica Frank, also known as Tarn Vero of Victoria St. Mark, who resided at Vendham St. George and in Canada, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. Carlisle Paul, also known as Brother Lou of Coles Gap St. David, passed away on Friday, 22nd September 2023, at the age of 72. The funeral arrangements for the late Carlisle Paul, also known as Brother Lou of Coles Gap St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. Rupert Ethelbert Link of Lamode and St. George Estate, St. George, who resided in the USA, passed away on Thursday, September 14th, 2023, at the age of 89. The funeral arrangements for the late Rupert Ethelbert Link of Lamode and St. George Estate, St. George, who resided in the USA, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. Gladys Simon née Campbell, also known as Miss Gladys or Simon, of Cornets Walk, Grove, St. John, passed away on Saturday, 9th September 2023, at the age of 99. The funeral arrangements for the late Gladys Simon née Campbell, also known as Miss Gladys or Simon, of Cornets Walk, Grove, St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. Alithia Myrtle Jean Thompson, also known as Auntie Jean of Rosehill St. Patrick, passed away on Saturday, 23rd September 2023, at the age of 93. The funeral arrangements for the late Alithia Myrtle Jean Thompson, also known as Auntie Jean of Rosehill St. Patrick, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. Gemma and Twine Wilson of Grove St. John, who resided at Bonaire St. Mark, a distinguished and much-loved mathematics and Bible knowledge teacher and former deputy head teacher of the St. Mark's Secondary School, passed away on Monday 28 August 2023 at the age of 67. The funeral arrangements for the late Gemma Antoine Wilson of Grove St. John, who resided at Bonaire St. Mark, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Elsia Ferguson, MBE, also known as Teacher Elsa and Elsie, of Grove St. John, who resided at Woburn St. George, died on Thursday, September 14, 2023 in Tobago, at the age of 75. The funeral arrangements for the late Elsia Ferguson, MBE, also known as Teacher Elsa and Elsie, of Grove St. John, who resided at Woburn St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Teresa Antoine, also known as Cooley, of Central Grove Estate St. John, who resided in Canada, passed away on Wednesday, 23 August 2023, at the age of 59. The funeral arrangements for the late Teresa Antoine, also known as Cooley, of Central Grove Estate St. John, who resided in Canada, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Jean Agnes Bartholomew of New Hampshire St. George passed away on Wednesday, 13 September 2023, at the age of 71. The funeral arrangements for the late Jean Agnes Bartholomew of New Hampshire St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Roxanne Jason Marshall, also known as Rox, of Grove St. John, passed away on Thursday, 14 September 2023, at the age of 47. The funeral arrangements for the late Roxanne Jason Marshall, also known as Rox, of Grove St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Lorraine John, also known as Lolo, and Gary Wright, of Marley St. Patrick, passed away on Wednesday, September 6, 2023, at the age of 64. The funeral arrangements for the late Lorraine John, also known as Lolo, and Gary Wright, of Marley St. Patrick, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Dennis Albert Dragon, also known as Cock, of St. Paul's, who resided at Calivany St. George, passed away on Saturday, 16 September 2023, at the age of 74. The funeral arrangements for the late Dennis Albert Dragon, also known as Cock, of St. Paul's, who resided at Calivany St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Reverend George Milton Guy, also known as Gapman, of Lauriston Carriacou, passed away on Tuesday, September 12, 2023, at the age of 68. The funeral arrangements for the late Reverend George Milton Guy, also known as Gapman, of Lauriston Carriacou, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
The management and staff of MTV extend deepest condolences to those of you whose loved ones have passed on. Thank you for watching.
I just want to express my sympathy with all those of you who have lost your loved ones. We know it is not an easy piece to lose somebody that you love dearly. But death is not the end, because the Bible tells us that there is life after death. My mind goes back to a man in the Bible named David, a man who at least he had a son by Uriah's wife, and the child got sick and died. In fact, the Bible says in verse 18 of 1 Samuel chapter 12, And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died. The child died. But that was not the end. David began a series of mourning